Hi, it's Morty the Movie Man here. I'm Connor. Today I'm making my final Emmys predictions, and I know I'm gonna be 100% accurate. Stupid birds. So for drama series, I have Succession, Better Call Saul, The Last of Us, The White Lotus, The Crown, Andor, House of the Dragon, and Yellow Jackets. I don't really see anything else getting in here. Maybe The Handmaid's Tale, depressing, dystopian, but I feel like almost half of these are that. Succession is viewed to most people as like the holy grail of television, and it's great, don't get me wrong. I remember when I did a monologue from Better Call Saul in an acting class, I felt like a fucking lunatic afterwards. Just started The Last of Us, and I think part of why I haven't gotten into it is because I'm still dealing with the trauma a few years ago of the dream I had of the nurses running around this neon hospital, and it's in the middle of the woods, and I run into the hospital because I'm running away from like a bear or something. Not a gay bear, just like a grizzly bear or whatever. And, you know, there are all these nurses running around, and all I can think about is I need to go in the elevators and trick the nurses into thinking that I'm going to different floors. The second I open the elevator door, there's another nurse there, and I feel like I'm gonna get stabbed, I'm gonna get shanked. So that's what I think about that show. The White Lotus is just... my daily life. No. Yeah, I think The Crown's definitely safe in there. I know that the controversy over Meghan, Harry, and the Queen, you know, not being great, but also not being not great. I'm pretty sure that the only other contenders that could get in here are, like I said, The Handmaid's Tale, Bad Sisters, if people really kind of want to go down that Fleabag sort of route of, ooh, I really want to nominate the writer who was also the creator, who was also the lead star in it with Sharon Horgan, and perhaps it could happen. I'm a little weary about it, with it being its first season, with it being similar to Big Little Lies, and also it seeming more like a limited series. And I think The Boys is one of those that you kind of need to have knowledge from the previous 2 seasons to go into it without being overwhelmed by seeing what you see in those first 10 minutes. Let's just say that's not my idea of being gay. The whole thing about The Diplomat being like The Americans 2.0, I was a little surprised at how quick it was going without giving us any sort of backstory into the character on a deep enough level where I really could get intrigued by the characters themselves and not just the situation of the explosion of the ship. And the old man, I don't know, it's just, when your show goes from an 8.4 to a 6.9 by its final episode on IMDb, no. Drama lead actress. I am so excited. I feel like she and Kieran have been leads the whole time, and for both of them I was able to switch on Gold Derby for their 100-to-1 odds before they actually started going up the ranks. So I hope I can get those points in, and yeah, I'm very excited about that. The performances were great too. Yeah, don't worry. I like numbers. I think she is fantastic in this show, and the dynamic about her sort of being like the liberal child of the family, but she's still incredibly ruthless. She gets the job done. She knows what she needs to do. It's this strange dynamic. I know a lot of people think Melanie Lynskey is gonna win for Yellow Jackets, but because of what I said, I don't see that happening. I have her in third, but in second I have Bella Ramsey, and they would make so much history being a kid getting into a category like this. Absolutely deserved. Imelda Staunton, no one has ever been snubbed for playing the Queen in a season. There have been 2 seasons where they didn't win, but both Olivia Colman and Claire Foy have wins in this particular category, with Claire even winning for Guest Actress. And I don't have her in this year just because I think The Last of Us and Succession are going to dominate. And I know a lot of people think Elizabeth Moss could get in again, but spoiler alert, I don't have anything in for The Handmaid's Tale, and if I just put her in randomly, that seems a little strange. And I would say the same goes with Helen Mirren in 1923. I think she is great in it, but again, getting the FU from Taylor Sheridan to the Emmys is going to hurt her regardless of the amount of campaigning she's doing. Best Drama Actor. I feel like there are 5 locks here, which is a little strange with only 6 slots. Bob Odenkirk, though, could potentially pull out a win here. And I think it would be quite epic if it was the only win that the show ever receives in any category. And I think Pedro Pascal is definitely getting in for The Last of Us. Nothing really to go over there. I do have Jeff Bridges in for The Old Man, based on his health, and sort of, but also more so on just how mysterious his character is, and how badass he is, but also how vulnerable and kind of likable he is at the same time too. I really, really want Paddy Considine to get in for House of the Dragon. The way that he walks in the episode 8 to the crown with that mask over his face. Diego Luna definitely could get in. I do have a couple of other Andor people getting in, but I feel like his performance is a little more subtle, and being based off the movie that didn't really go anywhere awards-wise, I don't know, I think the attention's going to go to other places. Matthew Rhys could get in for Perry Mason. I watched that first episode from season 2. I was getting, it felt a little slow, and I wasn't sure why it didn't feel like much was happening until the very end, and I loved that build-up like it was a Poirot, but the whole episode was just the build-up to the first crime that happens. And I really like that approach. I want to continue seeing it, and frankly, there's not enough 1920s, 1930s architecture, Art Deco in films anymore, and it's probably, I think, the most endearing and beautiful period. Best Supporting Actress in a Drama Series. I think there are 2 locks here. Jennifer Coolidge is definitely getting in. I know a lot of people think she's going to win, and I definitely have her as that right now, but part of me feels like has more of a comedic presence than dramatic. It's dramatic, it's over the top, but it would be weird. Best Drama Supporting Actress, and then gets the funniest speech of the night because it's similar to the character she plays too, because she's just a star. But I don't know, I think that's overthinking, and my other lock has only been nominated once before, but because I think there will be riots if she doesn't get in, Ray Seahorn, Better Call Saul, is absolutely still in this, I think. I think it's a 2-horse race there. Elizabeth Debicki blew me away. I don't think I've seen any performance visually, the way that she does her makeup, the way that her hair is done, and the sound of her voice is so spot on to Diana that I don't care if the show was underwhelming. I definitely think she's getting in, but just because it's underwhelming, I just have her below those top 2. And Christina Ricci, fan favorite. I think I would even vote for her, even though I was disappointed by this season. She is just so kooky in this role. So funny. So manic. Kind of relatable. And then I do have J. Smith Cameron. I was surprised she was not in the top 3, but after seeing the arc of this season and how it's really pushed the family forward even more, she's not in it quite as much, but I definitely think she's gonna be in there because her role is so crucial to the family's business anyways, and she's been a fan favorite for a while, I think. So I think she's definitely getting in. And again, This duo makes sense to me, Aubrey Plaza and the White Lotus, and I wasn't sure about Megan Feige actually, but the more I think about it, her role has that ditziness to it, but also sadness to it that intrigues people a lot. For whatever reason, it's a great performance. It's just interesting to me that this will get in. I don't feel great about it, but some people think she'll get in and Aubrey might not. Or that she just has a better shot, and seeing that momentum built at the right time, okay, sure, it's a show that is so freaking beloved. I feel strange not having Leslie Manville, especially once I got to episode 4, and her relationship with the guy who she hadn't seen for 35 years, or, yeah, I think 35 years, and the subtleness, but also the sheer dread about maybe being past your good years and not living up to your fullest dreams, it really resonated. But yeah, Sabrina Impasatore could get in. Haley Lou Richardson definitely could get in too. Handmaid's Tale, I know Yvonne Strahovski is a real standout, and it's that back and forth relationship between her and Elizabeth Moss. And Dad has won here before. Samira Wiley's gotten in here when no one else did. Justine Lupe could get in. I can definitely see Anne-Marie Duff getting in here after winning the BAFTA. Supporting actor. I am kind of all over the place with this. I do think all 4 of the Succession people are going to get in. I know there's some weariness about, oh, maybe Nicholas Braun. His arc isn't that strong. But the scene between him and Carrie, where he has to explain to her that she might not be the best host fit, was just one of the funniest things I've seen in a while. Alan Ruck is definitely getting in. Christ, his name is in the name of the episode that some people think is the best episode in television history. The White Lotus, I do have 2, just because I have 3 with actress, and I don't think it'll have more, but I felt like 1 was a little too low. So I have F. Murray Abraham getting in because he's been the consensus pick out and far ahead. And in a show like this that has such a huge ensemble, that does seem to be important. And yeah, I have Tom Hollander in too, because people talk about, well, Will Sharp is the relationship with Aubrey Plaza, but I don't think Aubrey is the big contender. Of course, it's Jennifer Coolidge, and who does she play most of her scenes off with in this season? It's Tom Hollander. He is deliciously evil. Almost popcorny or bubbly, bubblegum-esque, but there's such a sophistication to him too, and the sets that he's around his house, the fashion he wears, I think it's quite memorable. Maybe I'm going out on a limb here, but Stellan Skarsgård, the second I looked him up on Google, the first articles that came up were like best performance ever in anything Star Wars. And Mandalorian had a few acting noms, so why can't this get in? And yeah, there are a lot of other people who could get in. Jonathan Banks, but he's been snubbed the last few seasons. You know, it could be John Lithgow. I know he pretty much gets in all the time. Matt Smith definitely could get in, and it would be worthy. I think Will Sharp could get in. I think Michael Imperioli, as the son of F. Murray Abraham, taking his tendencies, that dual combination very well could propel him to a nomination, but I just don't know. I think there are too few spots. Okay, best comedy series. I think it's quite clear that the top 6 are very locked in. Ted Lasso and Maisel have won before. The Bear is going to get in. Abbott's going to get in. Barry is going to get in. Even if its last season was perhaps a bit too dark for some, it does round out the characters' arcs quite well. Currently have Wednesday in because I don't have a Netflix show in. Not that that matters, but they do have a huge campaign. It's quite possibly the most popular show here. It might seem a bit childish, young adult-ish for the Emmys. What We Do in the Shadows or Atlanta don't seem to have the same zing or power behind them. I will say Atlanta definitely is extremely acclaimed. I just don't know if, like its 3rd season getting snubbed for comedy series, if that enthusiasm for it being its final season necessarily matches up here. And What We Do in the Shadows, I didn't find this last season as funny as the previous ones. I know it keeps getting in, but it was a surprise that it got in last time, so I still think it getting in would be a surprise a little bit. Shrinking I do have as my last one because I do think Shrinking is kind of like the next Ted Lasso show. It has those same story arc beats, being able to relate to the characters and enjoying seeing people go through their faults and then overcoming them.